Things had gone bad. Really bad. Hawks tensed as Tokoyami flew him to the nearest medic, but the burns were making his vision fade in and out. It was hard to breathe. Every breath felt like claws in his lungs.
Just hold on a little longer, Hawks.
He heard Tokoyami tell him. Was he that bad off? Yeah, Dabi had landed some heavy blows.
You don't play dirty. I know you don't.
Hawks managed a small smile. I don't play dirty? Maybe, but I do play hard. Damn it twice. Why couldn't you just come quietly? Tokoyami suddenly pitched sideways, and Hawks was deftly aware of an attack, but he couldn't move. He managed to open his eyes, seeing he had fallen free from Tokoyami's grip. He could see his hand reaching up for the kid, the bird he'd shown how to fly. Was it right to feel this wave of pride for the kid?
Hawks!
Tokoyami shouted, dark shadow rushing towards him as he fell into someone's arms. He heard a chuckle, not a friendly one.
Goodbye, winged hero.
Then there was nothing but black. Hawks didn't know how long he was drifting for. Was this what death was like? Just floating?
Hey, guy, can you hear me?
Hawks groaned at the voice. He didn't recognize it. It must be someone talking to someone else. He just wanted to sleep.
Not a good idea to sleep here, guy.
Hawks tried to open his eyes, but all he could see were stars? Yeah, at least they looked like stars. And in front of him was a young man, maybe his age. His brown eyes and short brown hair gave him a youthful look, though the rat tail behind his head didn't help.
You're not supposed to be here, Kago.
Hawk stared at him. How did he know his name? The young man smiled.
Let's just say the missus and I are fans. Speaking of, let's get you somewhere better than here, yeah? You still have lives to save.
Hawks groaned, feeling the young man hoist him up with ease as he leaned against him. A million questions were racing through his head. How did this guy know his name? Was he reading his thoughts? Was that his quirk? Where was he? He was so tired. Where were the other heroes?
Hey, let's not overload yourself. You're in a pretty bad way, but I know someone who can help you. She's kinda used to this, though I do have a favor to ask you.
Hawks managed to look at the young man as he offered him a small smile. Why did that smile look so sad?
Save her, would you?
Hawks was suddenly falling again. This time, he truly landed. A dusty smell filled the air and irritated his already burning lungs, and there was a cacophony of sounds, from panicked chickens to a horse whinny. He landed in a barn? He tried to open his eyes, but his vision was still blurry with pain. But he could see he was covered in hay, and feathers were drifting around him from a chicken's panicked flight away from him. The barn door soon opened, though he couldn't turn to see who was there.
Hey, what's going on in here?
It sounds like a woman. Was there someone else in the barn he didn't hear? Who was she talking to? All he could hear were the whinnies of the horses and the calls of irritated hens. Soon he felt someone digging in the hay and coming into his sightline. The young woman before him blinked in shock, staring at him momentarily. There was a slight gleam in her green eyes before her lips pressed together.
Oh heavens, what are you doing here? Let's get you inside and patched up.
She was slender and petite, only coming up to about Hawk's chest as she pulled him out of the hay. He tensed and hissed in pain as she helped him lean against her.
Easy, I got you. Just stay awake until I can check you over, okay? Can you do that?
Hawks groaned and mumbled slightly in confirmation, though staying awake wasn't easy. He limped beside her for what felt like hours until she led him into a house and into a chair. He watched as she almost buzzed around the room like a bee, pulling out a futon mattress from the back and laying it on the floor. He blearily watched as she stepped outside again, only to come back with a small basket of plants. She was focused on her work. He'd give her that. She looked at his face for a moment, inspecting the injuries and listening to his breathing. She looked at his shirt, getting a finger under the sleeve to inspect how tight it was. Thankfully, it gave easily.
How painful would it be to remove your shirt?
Usually he'd quip about her needing to get in line with his other fans to get his shirt off. But the seriousness in her eyes stopped the quip quickly.
Like hell.
he answered, surprised at how raspy his own voice sounded.
I may need to cut it off then. I don't want to cause further injury.
With that, she got to work, moving behind him with scissors. He felt the ice-cold blade graze his burns as she sliced the fabric away, making him hiss a bit in pain.
Easy there. I know it hurts. I'm sorry. Just breathe and bear with me a moment. I'm almost done with this part.
She told him, carefully peeling the shirt away and revealing the burns. He heard her hiss as she inspected them, her hand hovering over the burns. Seeing most of them were on his back, she carefully helped Hawks back to his feet and to the futon, where she had him lay on his stomach. The soft mattress darn near lulled him to sleep, but he stayed awake a little longer, curious as the woman went back to the kitchen to prepare something.
What are you doing?
Shh, try not to speak.
She told him, kneeling next to him with a couple of bowls that smelled like plant stems and menthol.
This may sting, but we need to cool these burns down. I need you to focus on breathing for now, okay?
Hawks nodded and closed his eyes, bracing for pain. A searing cold feeling rippled across the burns as she applied something slimy to his back. He tensed and set his jaw, refusing to cry out, though he was sure he groaned and growled at the pain. All the while, she quietly spoke to him, offering some comfort with her words, though he couldn't register them. Soon, the pain was too much, and he blacked out, barely hearing her through the darkness that swallowed him whole. Hey there! Thank you for listening to Scarlet Feathers, a fanfic written by Fable of Silver Caverns. I'm the voice of Hawks and the narrator, so I hope you enjoy the story. While this is just a fun little side project we have here, the author wanted to explore other genres. If you like the story, make sure to subscribe, and might as well hit the like button while you're at it. And if you want more, be sure to check out her Ko-fi and become a member there for the main story on the channel. Until then, we'll see you around.